FM synth music is such a recognizable sound straight from the 80s up to the mid-90s. You could hear it from arcades, consoles from Japan, and from the PC gaming Adlib and Sound Blaster days, if you were a DOS PC gamer like I was. You can hear this very distinct synthetic metallic sound in many instruments used by these tunes. Adlib was a PC sound card that dominated the market in the late 80s, but was dethroned soon after by the creative Sound Blaster. Are you a fan of either one? You probably recognize some of the demo tunes that came bundled in the diskettes that they sold you with the cards. You can browse for these files from both of these companies in this collection I put up together. Both companies initially used the YM3812 chip, soon to be replaced by the more capable YMF262. It is this latter one that has found its way inside the FPGA of the F256K2 we're checking out today. I've spent the last few months obsessively targeting that chip. That work is entirely because of my fondness for the cheesiness and admiration alike for some of those sounds that come out of this technology. I couldn't afford the more professional MIDI sound options as a kid gamer in those days, so for better or for worse, the FM synth was the backup plan, and it buried those tones in my brain for life. I called my program OPL3 Snooper, and the first impression you get when you launch it is that it's a music file player specific to FM synth. It can load VGM files, but I also made it read simple text playlists, where each file is on a separate line so you can make your own. Let's open everyone's fond memory of a classic FM tune, E1M1 from Doom. But a cool feature that I was after is the snooping ability. You can pop up the status of the chip's registers with F7. You probably hear a bit of a slowdown in some tunes while this is active, but that's the price to pay for all of this information updating in real time. Let's open Lemmings and see how differently it behaves. But wait, let's see what happens when we pause the playback. That right here is the real feature I wanted to get in. Not only do you get the same information as before about these registers, but one channel is highlighted at once in red, and you can play the instrument to test it out. If you have a controller plugged in the MIDI in port in the back of the K2, the program is always going to try to give you maximum polyphony for that highlighted instrument. This is why I called it the OPL3 Snooper. You can fetch the definition of any instrument that exists within these VGM files and try to dig around to reverse engineer these sounds. Let's say you really like the leading melody of Lemmings Level 1 and want to use it elsewhere. Stop the playback and copy its values to your project. Make remixes and variations on the theme. Like from this bridge music from Alien Legacy. I've spent a few months deep diving into how the OPL3 standard works, so let me give you a quick primer on the terms you'll see thrown around. If you are like me, the zillions of Yamaha chip acronyms just blend together and their minor differences don't make a lot of sense. I can only speak to my own experience from the DOS side. First of all, these chips use oscillators that are called operators, and you basically need at least 2 of them to make one channel of a sounding instrument. If I want to keep it simple, I'll only talk about 2 classic Yamaha chips, and you'll see the bias I have as a veteran DOS gamer. The YM262 has 18 operators, so a maximum of 9 channels of music. It was used in the original Adlib sound card, the original Sound Blaster, and the Sound Blaster Pro. The weakness it has that everyone knows about are its percussion sounds. It didn't have a dedicated sound effect DAC, so it always suffered in that area. But some people still developed a liking for it and find those endearing. OPL2 is the class in which this chip exists, meaning it's their second gen. The YMF262 is of class OPL3 from Yamaha and brings a superset of features above OPL2. It is fully backwards compatible but goes up to 36 operators, meaning 18 channels instead of just 9. It adds left-right panning and adds new waveforms entirely. The craziest new feature is that the operators can mix together in groups of 4 instead of just 2 in various diagrams of influence. 3 operators can modulate 1, or 2 pairs in parallel produce mixed sound together. The number of possibilities shoot up dramatically. Historically, though, it felt like OPL2 was the dominant common denominator for PC games, and only a scant few games tried to tap into the world of OPL3, at least in the MS-DOS side. The PC gaming industry seemed to not be able to mature fast enough in time before CD audio took over. The natural advantage of Yamaha chip audio and its small size for sound files, just like MIDI files, was nullified by CD audio. Game composers could use the wide world of music producing software to make their soundtracks instead. If you want to look for great OPL3 soundtracks, you can dig around in the Japanese arcade world or the demo scene. The OPL Archive website is a great place where you can find those enthusiasts' tunes. Each file is carefully marked as using OPL2 or OPL3. In fact, I put their whole collection in this folder here, and I made a playlist that takes so many hours to play through. There are some exquisite gems like this remake of Chrono Trigger's classic tune here. My favorite is from this group called Diode Milliampere. This tune, Aquarius, is something else. But I also thought about DOS gamers and put in some real bangers. Often cited as an all-time favorite by many people, the Dune 1 soundtrack by the late Stefan Pick. It's just OPL2, but you can tell he used well-researched custom instruments here. And thanks to my program, you can try your hand at playing it too. That's gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please stay tuned on this channel for more custom programs and explorations. I've been on a sound chip tear for almost a year and a half, and I still have more things to test out. But I can honestly say this was a big milestone for me. Consider subscribing to the channel to not miss the future stuff. Bye for now.